Most men think they understand what women want. They assume it's about grand romantic gestures, financial security, or simply being a good husband. But the truth? What women secretly crave in marriage runs much deeper. Beneath layers of routine, unspoken expectations, and societal conditioning, there are desires that shape how she feels, how she acts, and, most importantly, how she responds to you. The problem is, most men don't recognize these signals, and when they go unnoticed for too long, the consequences can be devastating. Slowly, without realizing it, she starts to feel unseen. She stops sharing her thoughts, she withdraws, and before you know it, the connection that once felt unbreakable begins to fade. But here's the good news. This doesn't have to happen. When you understand these hidden desires, everything changes. You can reignite passion, deepen your bond, and make her feel drawn to you in a way that even she won't fully understand. Today, we're going to uncover 6 of the most powerful, unspoken desires of married women. These emotional triggers, when understood, will transform how you see your marriage forever. Whether you're newly married or have spent decades together, recognizing these deep needs is the key to creating a stronger, more fulfilling relationship. And here's the best part. Once you tap into these desires, everything shifts. Your wife will look at you differently. She'll feel more connected to you. She'll experience a level of emotional intimacy that most men never achieve. But ignore them, and the marriage can slip into a dull, emotionless routine where passion is replaced by obligation and love turns into mere coexistence. We're starting with the one desire that every woman feels but rarely talks about. And we'll end with the most powerful one, the desire that can either make or break a marriage. Stay with me until the end, because if you miss even one of these, you could be overlooking the very thing your wife has been silently craving. Let's dive in. The first secret desire most women have in marriage is solitude, having personal space just for themselves. It's the one thing almost no one talks about, yet every married woman craves it at some point. The role of a wife, a mother, a caretaker, a problem solver, it never stops. She loves her husband, she loves her family, but deep down, she wishes for moments where she can just be. No responsibilities, no expectations, just time to breathe, to think, to exist without someone needing something from her every second of the day. And if she doesn't get that space, she starts feeling trapped, not because she doesn't love her husband, but because she no longer feels like her own person. Here's what most men don't realize. A woman's desire for solitude isn't about escaping her husband. It's about reconnecting with herself. And the more you fight it, the more she'll crave it. Many men assume if she wants space, she must be unhappy with me. But the truth is the opposite. When a woman gets time to be alone, to recharge, to step away from the never-ending demands of life, she actually comes back more engaged, more loving, and more connected. Think about it. When was the last time your wife had a whole day to herself? A weekend where she could just relax without answering to anyone? If you can't remember, that's a problem. At first, she brushes off the feeling. She tells herself she just needs a good night's sleep. But over time, the exhaustion builds. The constant mental load of juggling a million things, keeping the house running, remembering birthdays, worrying about everyone else, starts to wear her down. And suddenly, she feels like she's losing herself. She laughs less. She's more irritable. She doesn't have the energy she used to. It's not because she doesn't love you. It's because she doesn't even have time to love herself. And here's the real danger. If she doesn't get that space, she'll start taking it in ways you won't like. Maybe she spends hours scrolling through social media just to mentally escape. Maybe she becomes emotionally distant, not because she's mad at you, but because she's running on empty. Or worse, maybe she starts fantasizing about a life where she isn't suffocated by responsibilities. That's when things truly start to unravel. Not because she wants to leave, but because she no longer feels in control of her own time. So what's the solution? Give her space before she has to beg for it. Encourage her to take that solo trip she's been talking about for years. Support her when she wants to spend a weekend with her friends. Let her have time to sit in silence with a book and a cup of coffee, without making her feel guilty, because when she has the freedom to step away, she will always choose to come back. And when she does, she'll return happier, more relaxed, and more in love with you than ever before. Most men think that constantly being together strengthens a marriage. But real strength comes from understanding that sometimes distance creates desire. A woman who has time to miss you, time to reflect, time to be in her own thoughts, will always be more engaged in the relationship than a woman who feels like she's being pulled in 100 different directions every single day. And here's where it gets even more interesting. If solitude is the first hidden desire that women rarely talk about, then what's the second? It's even more powerful. It's the one thing that can completely change the way she sees you. It's what keeps the fire alive, the excitement strong, and the attraction unwavering. And yet, most men get it wrong. Do you want to know what it is? If so, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment letting me know how many years you've been married. I'll be reading every single one. Let's move on to the second secret desire, the one that will make sure you never see your marriage the same way again. The next hidden desire is delight, the feeling of being truly desired. Every woman, no matter how long she's been married, wants to feel like she's still the woman who once made her husband's heart race. But here's the harsh truth. Most men stop making their wives feel desirable the moment they get comfortable. In the beginning, there were compliments, flirty glances, stolen touches. But over time, those little moments start to fade. The admiration lessens. The excitement cools. And suddenly, she starts to feel invisible, not just as a woman, but as your woman. And that's dangerous, because when a woman stops feeling desired by her husband, she doesn't just shrug it off. She starts looking for that feeling elsewhere. That doesn't necessarily mean she's seeking attention from other men, but she'll start craving validation in different ways, through social media, through the way she dresses, even through fantasies that pull her away from the monotony of everyday life. And the worst part? Most men don't even realize it's happening. Here's what you need to understand. A woman's desire for admiration isn't just about physical attraction. It's about emotional connection. It's about feeling seen, feeling cherished, feeling like the man she married still looks at her as if she's the most captivating woman in the world. And when she stops feeling that, resentment builds. She starts to wonder, does he even notice me anymore? Does he still think I'm beautiful? Does he still want me the way he used to? And those questions, they don't just sit quietly in the back of her mind. They start to change the way she sees the entire relationship. Here's the good news. You can fix this, and it's easier than you think. You don't need extravagant gifts or dramatic declarations of love. You just need to bring back the energy that made her fall for you in the first place. Compliment her, not just on how she looks, but on who she is. Notice the little things, the way she laughs, the way she thinks, the way she carries herself. Look at her like you used to, with admiration and appreciation. And most importantly, don't let her feel like she has to earn your attention. Show her that she already has it. Because here's the reality. If you don't make her feel desired, someone or something else eventually will. It might not be another man, but it could be an escape, a distraction, a growing emotional distance that becomes harder and harder to close. Don't wait until she feels like she's lost that part of herself to remind her that she's still the woman who once took your breath away. And speaking of appreciation, there's another secret desire that most men completely overlook, because a woman doesn't just want to feel desired, she wants to feel valued. She wants to know that everything she does, everything she sacrifices, everything she gives to the relationship isn't going unnoticed. And if a man fails to recognize this, that's when the real damage starts. Stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal next is the key to keeping your wife emotionally invested in your marriage. And it's something most husbands never think about. This desire is recognition, the deep, unspoken need to feel valued for everything she does. It's one of the most powerful desires a married woman has, yet it's also the one that's ignored the most. Every day she pours herself into the marriage, into the family, into making sure everything runs smoothly. And what does she get in return? A simple thank you every now and then? Maybe, but more often than not, her efforts are taken for granted. Here's what most men don't realize. Your wife isn't looking for applause. She's looking for acknowledgement. She wants to know that you see how much she sacrifices, that you notice the little things, that she's not just doing what a wife is supposed to do, but that she's actively holding the entire household together in ways you might not even understand. And when she doesn't feel that recognition, resentment creeps in. Not all at once, but little by little, day by day, until one morning she wakes up and thinks, "Does he even appreciate me anymore?" Let me ask you something. When was the last time you told your wife that you genuinely appreciate her? Not just a casual thanks when she hands you something, but a real, heartfelt recognition of everything she does. If you can't remember, that's a problem, because while men often assume, "She knows I appreciate her," the truth is, if you don't say it, she doesn't feel it. And here's where things get even more dangerous. When a woman doesn't feel valued, she starts questioning her role in the relationship. She starts asking herself, "Why am I the only one putting in effort? Does he even care?" And that's when emotional distance begins. She stops trying. She stops investing. Because no one wants to keep pouring love and energy into something that feels one-sided. So how do you fix it? It's simple, but it takes effort. First, start noticing the things you overlook. The way she makes sure the house feels like a home. The way she takes care of things so you don't have to. The way she remembers birthdays, plans events, keeps the entire family functioning. And then, tell her. Not in a generic, offhanded way, but in a way that makes her feel seen. Say, "I see how much you do, and I don't take it for granted. I appreciate you." And don't just use words. Show her. Give her a break without her having to ask for it. Help out in ways you normally wouldn't. Remind her that she's not alone in carrying the weight of the relationship. Because when a woman feels valued, she gives back tenfold. Her love, her energy, her passion, everything in the relationship becomes stronger. But here's the thing. Recognition isn't enough on its own. Because while appreciation makes her feel valued, there's another desire she's hiding. One that can either bring you closer together or slowly drive her away. It's the desire that makes her feel free. The desire that reminds her she's still an individual. The one thing that keeps her from feeling trapped in the expectations of marriage. And if you don't understand this next one, everything else could fall apart. The fourth secret desire on our list is independence. The quiet, unspoken need for a little freedom, even within marriage. This one confuses a lot of men. You might be thinking, wait, doesn't marriage mean togetherness? Doesn't she want a partnership? Of course she does. But here's what most husbands don't realize. Being in a loving marriage doesn't mean she stopped being her own person. Too many men make the mistake of assuming that because their wife loves them, because she's committed to the relationship, she no longer needs space to be herself. But nothing could be further from the truth. Deep down, every woman dreams of having a part of her life that is just hers. Not as a wife, not as a mother, not as the glue holding the family together, just herself. And when she doesn't have that, she starts to feel suffocated. At first, she happily throws herself into the relationship. She builds a home. She nurtures a family. She gives everything she has to the people she loves. But over time, something shifts. She realizes that somewhere along the way, she lost herself. The hobbies she once loved, gone. The nights out with friends, rare. The things that made her feel independent, spontaneous, alive, replaced by responsibility, obligation, and the constant weight of making sure everyone else is okay. And this is where most men mess up. Instead of encouraging their wife to reclaim parts of herself, they take it personally. They assume that if she wants a weekend away, if she wants to pick up a new hobby, if she wants to have friendships outside the marriage, it must mean she's unhappy. But that's not true. In fact, the more freedom a woman has to be herself, the more deeply she will commit to the relationship. The biggest mistake you can make as a husband, becoming her entire world. Because as romantic as that sounds, it's actually a trap. A woman who feels like she has no room to grow, no space to breathe, no time to just be, will eventually feel trapped. And that feeling, it kills attraction, it kills desire, and worst of all, it slowly chips away at the connection you built together. So what's the solution? Encourage her independence. Support her when she wants to do something on her own. If she wants to go on a trip with her friends, let her. If she wants to pursue a passion that has nothing to do with you, support it. If she wants to have nights where she's just by herself, recharging, don't take it as a rejection. Instead, recognize it for what it really is, an investment in the marriage. Because here's what happens when you give a woman the freedom to be herself. She comes back to you happier, more fulfilled, and more in love than ever before. She doesn't feel like she has to escape to find happiness, because she knows she's already in a relationship that respects her individuality. And that kind of relationship, it lasts. But here's the kicker. Independence alone isn't enough. Because while a woman needs her own space, she also craves something just as deeply, a connection that goes beyond the surface. She doesn't just want to exist in the same space as her husband. She wants to feel like they truly understand each other, like they share something deeper than just daily routines. And if she doesn't get that, the distance will start to grow. So stick with me, because the next secret wish is one that separates good marriages from great ones. It's the difference between being a couple who just lives together and being a couple who truly connects on the deepest level. And if you can give her this, you'll have a marriage that most people only dream about. The fifth secret desire on our list is spiritual intimacy, the deep, unshakable connection that makes a woman feel truly understood by her husband. This is what separates a functional marriage from a fulfilling one. Because here's the truth. A woman can have everything. A stable home, a responsible husband, even financial security. But if she feels emotionally disconnected from her partner, something will always feel missing. Men often assume that if they're providing, protecting, and being present, that's enough. But for women, surface-level connection isn't enough. She doesn't just want to exist alongside you. She wants to feel like you truly see her, like you understand the way she thinks, the way she feels, the way she experiences life. And here's where most men get it wrong. They assume that time together automatically creates connection. They believe that sitting in the same room, running errands together, or even raising kids is enough to sustain intimacy. But that's not what she needs. A woman doesn't just want your presence, she wants your engagement. She wants to know that when she speaks, you're truly listening. That when she shares something personal, you care enough to ask deeper questions. That you don't just love her, you understand her. And when she doesn't feel that, she starts to shut down. At first, it's subtle. She shares less. She stops opening up about her thoughts, her fears, her dreams. Over time, she starts feeling like you're more of a roommate than a partner. And before you know it, that emotional distance turns into something much bigger. Because a woman who doesn't feel emotionally connected will eventually stop feeling physically connected too. Now, here's the part most men don't realize. Creating deep connection doesn't take grand romantic gestures or hours of deep conversations. It happens in the small, everyday moments. It's the way you look at her when she's talking, the way you put your phone down and give her your full attention, the way you ask, "How are you really doing?" and actually listen to the answer. Want to build spiritual intimacy? Here's what you need to do. Ask better questions. Instead of the usual, "How was your day?" ask, "What's something that made you feel excited today?" Or, "What's been on your mind a lot lately?" Be fully present. When she's talking, don't just hear her. Engage with her. Respond. Ask follow-up questions. Show her that her thoughts matter to you. Create shared experiences. Go for a walk together. Read the same book and discuss it. Find something that's just yours. A shared passion. A ritual. A way to connect beyond the daily grind. Because here's the truth. If you don't build emotional connection, someone or something else will. And once a woman starts feeling more emotionally understood by a friend, a coworker, or even a random person online than by her own husband, that's when the real cracks start to form. But here's the good news. The moment a woman feels truly seen and understood, her love for you deepens in ways you can't imagine. She feels safe. She feels cherished. She feels like she's not just part of a marriage. She's part of a bond that no one else could ever replace. And now, we're down to the final and most important secret wish. Because while a woman needs solitude, desire, recognition, independence, and deep emotional connection, there's one thing she craves more than anything else. It's the one desire that makes her feel safe, secure, and completely in love with her husband. Miss this last one, and everything else starts to fall apart. Give it to her, and you'll have a marriage that no outside force could ever shake. Stick with me, because this next wish, it's the foundation of everything. The final and most important secret desire on our list is love. Not just in words, but in undeniable, consistent actions. This is what every married woman craves more than anything else. It's the foundation of everything. It's what makes her feel safe, secure, and irreplaceable in her husband's life. Most men assume their wives know they are loved. After all, they show up, they provide, they stay faithful. But here's the truth. Knowing and feeling are two very different things. A woman doesn't just want to be told she's loved. She wants to feel it in every interaction, in every moment, in every small, seemingly insignificant act that proves she's still the most important person in your world. And this is where most marriages start to fall apart. Not because of some major event, not because of betrayal, but because somewhere along the way, love became a habit instead of an emotion. The passion faded. The attention dwindled. The little things, the affectionate touches, the compliments, the spontaneous moments of appreciation disappeared. And when that happens, she starts to wonder if she's still truly loved. or if she's just part of the routine. Women don't just want to hear "I love you." They want to see it, feel it, know it, without question. And love isn't about grand gestures. It's in the small, everyday details that show her she's still the most important person in your life. Want to make your wife feel loved? Here's how. Make her a priority, not just when it's convenient, not just on anniversaries, every single day. Show affection without reason, a kiss on the forehead, holding her hand when you're walking together, a random text during the day that says, "Thinking about you." Speak her love language. Some women feel loved through words, others through actions, others through physical touch. If you don't know what makes her feel loved, ask her. Be consistent. Love isn't about doing something big once in a while. It's about the little things, done every single day. Because here's the hard truth. If a woman doesn't feel deeply, undeniably loved in her marriage, she starts looking for that feeling somewhere else. Maybe not in another man, but in a hobby, a job, a distraction, something that gives her the emotional fulfillment she's missing. And once that happens, it's hard to pull her back. But when a woman knows she is loved, when she feels it in the way you look at her, in the way you talk to her, in the way you prioritize her, she becomes unstoppable in her love for you. A woman who feels truly loved will give everything she has to her husband, her marriage, and her family. She will go through life by your side, fiercely committed, because she knows she's not just in a relationship, she's in a love story that never stops growing. And now, you know the 6 secret desires of married women. These aren't just wants. They are deep, emotional needs that shape the way a woman feels in her marriage. So, here's the real question. Are you meeting these needs? Because if you are, congratulations. You're creating a marriage that most people only dream about. But if you're not, now is the time to start. It's never too late to rekindle desire, to strengthen intimacy, to show appreciation, to give her the space she needs, and most importantly, to make her feel deeply, unshakably loved. Marriage isn't about getting comfortable. It's about growing together every single day. And if you do that, she will love you in a way that no other woman ever could. If you found value in this, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Until next time, stay strong, stay present, and never stop growing.